You are with Dr. Nita Chhinzer, and this episode discusses orientation program challenges. New employees are often oriented through a short process at the start of employment that gives them the basic information about the job in the firm. They need a clear understanding of company policies, expectations regarding performance, and operating procedures. In the long term, a comprehensive orientation program can lead to reductions in turnover, increased morale, fewer instances of corrective discipline, and fewer employee grievances. However, several problems can arise with orientation programs, and we'll discuss some problems as well as their solutions. One of the main problems is often information overload, where an employee is given too much information in a short time. New employees often find themselves overwhelmed with forms to fill out for payroll, benefits, pension, and so on. Of course, these forms are required to create the employee account. One solution is to move these forms into the pre-orientation stage, automating as much as possible via fillable forms that directly feed into the Human Resource Information System or databases. It's also important to review the forms to improve the instructions or cluster content better. In some cases, we can offer pop-up boxes or an appendix with common questions or samples if we find that this is causing frustration for employees, or if it's open to interpretation. There's also the option to merge forms, so that there's one set of common forms, all with the same employer and employee identifying information. These merged forms can then be parsed out and shared as needed. Another problem is that there's too little or no orientation. This forces new employees to seek out answers independently or work without a clear understanding of their roles. This is a common problem for part-time and contract workers. What are some solutions? Prior to the first day of work, clearly articulate within your organization who is responsible for the orientation, not just which department, whether it's the HR or the main department that the employee is assigned to, but who within each team is responsible. Encourage a follow-up 1 week after the employee starts to address the additional gaps or questions that the employee might have. We can also consider assigning a trustable employee with more tenure to mentor or coach the employee, but we have to be careful with this solution. A mentor or a coach who is disgruntled, who doesn't follow procedures, or is ineffective in other ways may actually do more harm than good. The third problem is that the orientation information provided by the employer can be too broad to be meaningful to a new employee, especially on the first day. Introductions to the company can be done in a standard format for all employees, things like a video of the leader that is regularly updated, or a welcome letter. When you are orienting an employee on day one, you want to speak as if you're speaking to someone who knows nothing about the organization's mission, culture, etc. Similar to problem 3, problem 4 is actually the opposite. It's providing too detailed information, and when information provided in orientation is too detailed, it can't be realistically remembered by the employee. A solution here is to recognize that it's perfectly okay to mention what else the person will be learning in the near future, and to remind them that the focus of the first day orientation is on what the employee knows to do their work well as soon as possible. Instead, focus in on the who, what, when, where, why, and how work is completed. So how are we doing? A 2023 study of over 1,000 new hires identified the effect of poor onboarding of new hires. Overall, remote workers feel less oriented or trained for their new jobs than face-to-face workers. Larger companies also provide more satisfactory orientation than small companies. And of new hires, 32% find the onboarding experience confusing and 22% find it disorganized. It looks like there's a lot of room for improvement in orientation. Investing in and correcting orientation problems is critical to organizational success.